car.
Nah, you can get out of the car.
What?
Wherever we live in the world, we probably encounter quite a few Karens. These confrontational and entitled individuals are all around us, causing trouble for others who are just trying to go about their business. Today, we are sharing a list of videos that depict Karens facing the consequences of their actions. Number 1. A racist old Karen starts a fight. Why don't we start off quite heavily with an old Karen who feels it's okay to just walk up to people and start throwing insults at their faces? We can see immediately that these two are quite eager to go at it, and it seems that things take a turn for the worse once the old lady calls out this fella to be an alcoholic. This triggers a brief exchange which doesn't cause anyone to get injured, but spells out that you can't just walk around and talk nonsense to people's faces. Number 2. A Karen acts dumb and gets a fine. We think it's quite clear that when you're driving, this should be the only activity that you're focused on. Instead, the next Karen that we bring you was essentially doing everything on her phone.
Doing everything but drive this car. You've gone through email.
Cops followed her around for long enough to realize that she wasn't just looking at pictures and scrolling through posts, but she also checked her email and other things. Once the cop faces her with this and explains that this isn't an acceptable behavior, we see that the woman's inner Karen starts showing.
The person who pays your salary. Sir, please.
No, I'm no longer going to listen to you.
Instead of taking responsibility, she decides to question the cop and his right to pull her over by claiming that she was doing all of this on the phone while at the traffic light. Number 3. A Karen classic. What would a list about Karens be without a classic case of "I want to speak to the manager"? Once this lady pulls the well-known move recognizable through memes, we see that the worker behind the counter immediately realizes what type of person she's dealing with. After explaining to the lady that it would take some time to get the manager here,
Hi, how can I help you? No problem. I just my bad. It's just you.
she discovers that Karen is not about to give up, so she uses the hilarious situation to make this amazing joke. After briefly hiding below the counter, she shows up in a new role. This time, she is the manager. As we all know, this is the response that can get Karens quite riled up, and this one isn't an exception. Afterward, the two got into a screaming contest.
How are you doing? You cannot record me. That is against my HIPAA law.
Ending with the defeated Karen pulling this petty move before she left. Number 4. A male. Karen calls a flight attendant a servant. Being a Karen has nothing to do with the person's gender. In this next video, we see a male Karen who enters a plane and thinks that it's okay to act as if he owns the whole company and the people who are working for it. Well, this flight attendant wasn't having it, and she decided to give Karen a proper treatment. Being a great colleague, the flight attendant explained to the person that whatever the reason, it wasn't okay that she made other crew members cry.
On me and yelling on me. My crew is crying because of you. Please try to understand there's a God, they're accounted, means uplifted. We can only serve what you're.
Why are you yelling?
Even her high pitch is giving away how ticked off she is. In what turns out to be a hilarious moment of their fight, after the flight attendant explains that the whole crew should be respected and treated humanely, the male Karen keeps shouting and pointing a finger at her.
I am an employee. I am not your servant.
Don't yell.
Then you don't yell.
Don't yell.
The climax of this event happens once the entitled passenger calls all the employees servants as he keeps shouting at her. Number 5. A Karen doing her thing while holding a baby. How ignorant do you have to be to enter a fight, even while holding a baby? We immediately realize from this lady's facial expression and demeanor that she doesn't even flinch to curse, and to do so right in her child's ear.
In the coach, I'm protecting my player. Get off my school property right now.
Besides shouting out various profanities, the woman even gets into a pulling and pinching contest over the fence with the man. Anyone with a common sense could ask themselves, is it really okay to enter such a dangerous situation and bring a young child into it? Well, it seems this Karen had no issues with it. Number 6, a woman breaks a bus windshield. The next Karen that we will show you gets angered quite quickly at this bus driver, and without thinking, she acts. After they had been going at it for a while, the woman must have felt that things weren't going her way, which is why she decided to use force. However, it seems that she wasn't aware of how much damage a strong punch to the windshield can actually do.
Get off the bus! Get off the bus!
And not just that, but also that there are serious fines for damaging public property in this way. Even after the damage was done, she acted as a victim and kept crying and screaming in front of the bus. Keeping at this unreasonable behavior, she even tries to escape the scene, but eventually gets completed to pay the fee for the damages. Number 7, cops had enough of Karen's behavior. This next case happened in 2023. Even the reason why the cops were called to the scene could have been a hint that there may be a Karen involved.
Yeah, ID on us.
No,
You don't?
no, why do I need to give you my ID?
As the cops show, they immediately start picking up clues that yes, this is indeed a heavy case of an entitled Karen who, right from the get-go, refuses to cooperate. Besides filming the whole deal, which is entirely fine, she refuses to give officers her ID and threatens to report the cop for no reason at all.
All right, ma'am, you can lose the attitude or I'll just put you in handcuffs.
You can do what you gotta do.
Unfortunately for her, this Karen stumbled upon a cop who wasn't going to take the nonsense. He immediately offers her the choice to comply or be forced to. Even though he clearly explains to her that cuffs are about to be used on her, she refuses to change her behavior and keeps yelling at the cop, who calmly repeats his warning to her. Finally, after being ID'd, the Karen was released, but her pride couldn't take it. She decided to call 911. Yes, you heard right. She called the cops on the cops. Because this is a misuse of law enforcers' time, she ends up being arrested. Number 8. Rules are rules, Karen. The whole idea of putting up some rules is for all of us to follow them. This Karen felt that she was above the rules and acted very impolitely towards the hostesses working at this restaurant because there were no free tables. On the other hand, this place doesn't have reservations, so waiting is a natural part of the process. Nevertheless, we see Karen's anger and cursing, which causes a scene. The hostess is trying to get away, and she might have touched Karen at some point, but who can blame her?
You pushed her and tried to take her check.
I did push her?
You took
Are you guys liars?
No.
Are you guys liars?
I don't know what you want us to
Call
do.
their manager. I need to talk to the manager.
Considering she was waving a finger right in front of her nose. Nevertheless, this wasn't a punch, a slap, or a scratch. But Karen is trying to blow things out of proportion as she argues with the manager, repeatedly screaming in his face the question, "Why did the hostess touch me?" Multiple people are trying to calm the woman down, but their attempts fail, and the whole event reaches the familiar moment when Karen asks for the manager. Number 9. A Karen gets put in place by a bystander.
I'm so tired of ignorant people like you coming in here talking bad about the workers.
This one apparently has the talent to both make everyone hate her and stick around to make their lives harder, and at the same time have to deal with some very tiresome customers. The Karen enjoys getting on everybody's nerves, and a guy who is waiting in line loses his patience. He tells the woman to stop being a menace and bothering the working folk, and once he tries to leave, the woman actually punches him, sparking a short brawl. Number 10. When a male Karen feels the need to argue.
I need my money back and I want it fast.
Sometimes, when Karens feel the need to insult other people, the reason they use to justify this behavior can be quite meaningless. To this male Karen, it is all about cheese.
If you have a cheeseburger, you have a cheeseburger. If you have hamburger, you have hamburger. I want my money back. I want my money back now.
The guy seems to have ordered some food but isn't satisfied with it. Immediately, he walks up to the counter, screaming that he wants his money back. Doing as Karen does, this guy proceeds to explain to the restaurant worker how she should be doing her job.
Please be competent once in your life. Once. Take an order and fill it.
Apparently, this guy has taken issue with the question of what a standard hamburger should consist of, and according to his theory, cheese should exclusively go in a cheeseburger. Number 11. Racist Karen gets kicked out of the car. This next video shows us what happened in 2022 when a guy working as a driver
Hello. For Jackie, right? Yeah. How are you?
realized how insensitive and racist Karen's behavior was.
Excuse me?
You're like a normal guy? Like you speak English? Sorry.
No, you can get out of the car.
As soon as she reaches for the handle and enters the vehicle, she asks the guy whether he speaks English and phrases the question as, "Are you a normal guy speaking English?" The dude immediately realizes what the woman meant and decides that such insolence shouldn't be allowed. To add to the insult, this woman also acted surprised that the driver was a white guy. These disturbing stereotypes were too much, and the driver decided that they shouldn't be tolerated.
Excuse me?
You're like a normal guy? Like you speak English? Sorry.
No, you can get out of the car. I'm gonna cancel
What?
a ride. That's inappropriate.
What?
It's completely inappropriate.
He even politely explained to the woman that it is very improper to act in this way and posed her with a hypothetical question to which she had no answer.
Ride, you guys can get out.
Really?
Yeah, completely inappropriate.
Oh, you're
It's all on camera, man.
He asked her what she would have done if her driver hadn't been white. The racist Karen and her companion can take a walk home, as far as this guy cares. Number 12. Scream and get screamed at. This one was feeling so entitled that she could barely believe that her nonsense wasn't received with polite smiles. But it was, in the end, what actually got her kicked out of this place. After throwing a lot of nonsense at the senior staff member, the employee does the sensible thing and decides to protect her colleague's peace and her own. She asks the woman to leave, and since she doesn't seem to hear the words, she screams it at the Karen's face.
Get out of my store. Get out of my store. Get out of my store.
As the overwhelmed Karen is leaving, she's still cursing at everyone. And it's almost like she wants to make sure we are all on the same page regarding how rude and unacceptable her behavior is.
Throw it at me and I'm going to throw it right back.
Number 13. Karen's behavior started a food fight. This case takes us to a restaurant where, on one side of the divider, there was a party of women who were enjoying their time together and celebrating one of their friends' birthday. On the other side of the restaurant, however, there was a Karen who was prepared to act heavily insulted and use this excuse to cause discomfort for everyone. At one point, the girls celebrated and exclaimed with excitement, and this triggered the Karen to start a full-blown food fight. She is seen spilling drinks and throwing all the other items she ordered toward the girls while shouting insults at the group. Apparently, this Karen has a somewhat sensible partner who tried to de-escalate the situation and even left a hefty tip for the waitress as a thank you for not calling the cops on his unhinged partner. Number 14. Karen messes with the wrong border patrol.
U.S. citizens?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen? I'm not declaring that.
Well, the driver in the next video feels that there's no need to identify yourself even when Border Patrol asks you to. Naturally, since this is the whole point of having Border Patrol, the officers couldn't let this go and had to react.
Hi, how are you today?
Okay.
Can you please roll this back window down?
No, I'm not doing that.
I'm sorry?
I'm not consenting to searches.
After the person has once again confirmed that they refuse to answer whether they are a U.S. citizen, they're pulled aside. An immigration officer proceeds to deal with the situation.
That I need to inspect to see if they're citizens of the United States. Are you a United States citizen?
I'm not declaring my citizenship.
As it is within their right, the officers ask the man to roll the window down and show that there are no other people in the vehicle. Weirdly enough, even the woman sitting in the passenger seat has no issue with claiming that she is a US citizen. Although, considering that she's in the same car as Karen, we could probably guess that she's already used to similar unnecessary situations. Number 15. Karen acts as if she owns the airport. This one was working on getting everyone upset at an airport back in 2021. As anyone who has experience with planes knows, it is sometimes necessary due to organizational aspects to switch passengers' seats. This happened to the Karen we see in the video, and her aisle seat had to be changed to one in the middle. Apparently, this was unacceptable to her.
And the girls let me sit where I wanted to sit, and then they took me off the plane. But I walked off allowing. They did not arrest me. They did not handcuff me. They did not...
Acting as if everyone around her is dumb or has lost their minds, she starts inventing rules, such as expecting the airplane company to refund her trip or to pay her a hotel suite due to the disturbance that she has experienced. Even if any of this made sense, the airport workers would be crazy to let such a furious person board a plane where she could spread the madness and the anger onto other passengers who deserve to have a calm flight. Since it appeared that there was no chance of the woman calming, the decision that was made, given the unpredictable situation, was that the woman would be refunded. She strongly reacts to this idea since she doesn't know the city she is in. Well, her frustration and impulsive behavior kept spiraling until cops were left with no choice but to put cuffs on the lady and be done with this unacceptable behavior. Number 16. A Karen hits a man's car and blames others. The lady who caused the trouble in this case is obviously trying to act innocent and blame others for what she has done. Luckily, there was a car behind that recorded the whole deal so that this unhinged Karen could be brought to justice. What happened was that this woman backed up and hit the front of the car behind her.
Good, bro?
Can you show that she...
Yeah.
No, we can give you everything. Hey, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, we got you. She's trying to say that you hit her?
She said I drove into her when she backed up.
No.
We have like three...
The car was in drive.
No.
I have the video. We have 3 different videos.
Even though these people are telling her that she was recorded doing this and that, without a doubt, it is her fault that it happened. She kept acting as if it had nothing to do with her.
Is there any damage?
What cool dudes these two ended up being, considering that they not only recorded the whole thing, but took the time to help the other driver out.
She was going so slow back then.
Oh, is it
I did not back into you. I'm sure you're all working together.
Wait,
Please.
Once she realizes her act isn't going to get her very far, Karen claims they're all in cahoots against her and leaves the scene. Number 17. Entitled Karen Gets Ignored. Childishly, this woman wanted to put a stop to the ongoing work that her neighbor was doing in his own yard. Her idea of how to do this was simply to stand around and cause spite in everyone. However, considering that these people seem to be too calm and refuse to be thrown off balance by such rude and uncalled-for behavior, her spirit starts lingering. We even see that there's a police officer on the scene, so the woman must have realized that there isn't much that she can do. Still, this doesn't stop her from acting childishly, and even as she gets asked to leave the private property of her neighbors, she spitefully walks across it and stands firmly. Well, at least until the officer makes her move. Number 18. A Karen attempted casual shoplifting. She believed that her magnificence was such that she could just walk into a store, pick up some stuff, and after causing a scene, just walk right through the door. However, this guy wasn't having it, and he blocked the door, not allowing her to leave. The woman, however, doesn't want to give up on her plan, and even though the whole event is well recorded and there are other people looking at what is happening, she keeps pulling. Realizing that he has done enough, the guy lets the embarrassed woman go. Number 19. Karen in a road rage. In her rage, the woman exited her car, blocking the man's path, and after she got next to his window, She kept screaming in his face for quite a while. Without the right cause, she threatens the man with the police, and he calmly replies that she is free to do so. This just pushes the enraged woman even further, and she starts swinging her hands around, even asking for other people to call the police as if she were the victim here. Besides blocking the street, she keeps throwing insults at the guy's face. Since he has had enough, at one point he tries to leave, but the crazy Karen walks right in front of his car and starts punching it. Number 20. An irrational Karen. This Karen that we bring you next proved to be not just irrational and senseless, but also fairly racist.
I am from here.
Look at, go home.
I am here from here.
Go home. I don't care about your Facebook or your video.
Oh, okay. You're
Do you
making
know
a
how
racist
many
comment
people
right
can't
now?
stand you being
Oh,
here?
great.
You play games. We don't play games.
Almost as a foreshadowing, as soon as she walks up to the man, she opens her performance by saying that she is not racist. Clearly, this was a sign that someone needed to check their attitudes.
This lady
I'm calling the
just
police on
made
you.
a racist comment. I can't believe this.
Even though she may seem like a polite person, she curses heavily and tries to walk away. The man, however, doesn't let himself be distracted and proceeds to record her license plates, ensuring that the woman's identity can be found out and that her actions won't go unpunished. We don't know about you, but we feel there were a lot of crazy, raging, irrational, and impolite people that we have seen throughout the videos that we have shown you. This list teaches us that there must be consequences for unacceptable behavior. The 20 Karens that we have seen learned this the hard way as we saw them getting what they deserve. We hope you have enjoyed this adventure. Thank you for watching.